So it'll help.
Yeah, I see it.
Hello, I am so excited. Today we're doing our grad interview series with top real estate agents all around systems and technology. And guess who we've got today? Stefanie Donohoe. Like, Steph, do you want to just introduce yourself and let people know, a little bit about you and what you do and how long you've been in the biz?
Okay, well, my name is Stefanie Donohoe. I work with Jeff Donohoe Personal Real Estate Corp. Jeff and I have been working together for 31 years. I've been fully licensed for 25 of those. And, I love what I do. Jeff loves what he does. We've stayed really small. It's literally a 3-man show because we've just added our son to the...
Yay. Keep it in the family.
Yeah, both Jeff and John work as independent realtors. They're not a team.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sort of the back office. I do everything that they don't have time to do. I do the ads, I do all the back office, but I'm fully licensed. So I can do, different things that require a license.
Licenses. Yeah. Cool. That is awesome. And I know now we were trying to figure that out. You think it was 10 years ago?
Yeah, I do. I really do. Because I was going, so I went and I found our sort of our tax files, and I was trying to find where I did, where I actually had, invoices from Darcy Talk. So It's 10 years, believe it or not. It is.
I can't believe it, actually.
Yeah, it's been a very long time. We met through a really close friend of my husband, through Jeff's, and I was talking to her and saying, I'm having all these troubles with my organization of my files and stuff and on my computer, and I can't find somebody who understands how to make things all jive. And she said, like our friend Sandy said, you've got to talk to my...
Oh, yeah. Goodness. Yes, Sandy. I was like, who is the person? Yes, Sandy.
Yeah. Anyway, so she goes, I think I have the person for you. She's like an IT wizard, and oh my goodness, you need to talk to her. So, with trepidation, I thought, okay, I'll try this, because I've been given lots of names by that point, and I'd spent a hell of a lot of money and never really quite got the results that I wanted, which was really frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I found the answer to my prayers.
We're still talking. So 10 years later, we're still talking. That's
great. And like the thing is, we've morphed from Darcy Talks through to ATM, and I've always found value. Like, I've always received value for the time that I've spent with you, and the money that is part of it. But I mean, just recently you told me about this ATM program, and you said, and you get to keep all the modules to go back. I can't even tell you. I graduated from it about 4 or 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, something like that. A couple months.
And already I've gone back to the modules, because there's just, you forget one little step, or you forget, you go, I know she talked about that. So you go back and it's like, there it is.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So Steph if you guys don't know who's listening now, is I help agents with systems technology from top down. So domain, email, cloud storage, and then the CRM side, and then other things as well. But basically before, which is, when we met, I would do this one-on-one training, and I love it because I love people and I love helping agents. But it just as a business model, it wasn't good, right? Because stuff would change, and then you'd have to hire me again, and then stuff would change, because doesn't stuff change all the time?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, right now, the next thing I've got to do is I got to move from backup and sync to Google File Stream, or whatever it's called, the new thing. Anyways,
because they've changed again, and there's different, and that's the thing, is like Dropbox. Everything changes all the time. Dropbox, iCloud, iPhones, iPads, Androids, computers, operating systems, like all of it's changing, right? So so what happened with Steph is that she was on the old model and she came back and I said, well, we hadn't worked together for a few years because we had it all set
I think it
up.
was only two because Jeff had gotten a new computer and you helped us set that one up.
Yeah.
And you helped us set up Johnny's computer.
That's right.
Because we had to have the mesh with Jeff because that was 2 years ago. So
everything's syncing and talking. Yes. And so my new program, which has now it's almost 2 years that I've been doing it this way. But what is great is and I was like so happy when I thought, well, let's do it this way, is that when you have a change in technology, I just update a module and I let you know. And that is, wonderful for me, but also wonderful for you because you can always keep up on it, right?
Yeah, and that's invaluable. I think, at first, sometimes when you see the price point, you sit there, you kind of get a little bit of a shock. Maybe you might get a little anxious.
Yeah. Because
I know, but the thing is, once I was in the course, I'm like, oh my God, this is so worth it. This was I could really find the value in what I was getting. And even today, I'm getting value constantly because I'm going back all the time and I'm figuring things out. It's on my own. And that's a really nice, that's a cool feeling to have, is when you don't feel so beholden to somebody, or you're not having to wait 2 weeks to get something sorted out. You can do it. You can do it.
Oh my goodness, yes. And that's the thing. And that is, I got goosebumps when you're talking, because that's the thing, is my goal is when people run through the program is I want you not to need me after the 7-week program. I want you to be able to know enough. We fixed everything. Everything's integrated. So, update once, it updates everywhere. You've got the CRM working. But then 6 months from now, if you forget how to share a folder with another agent, right? Because you need to share Strata docs or HOA docs for my American friends, or share whatever. Even the personal side, that's what I find, the personal side. Let's say you want to share something with your family. How do you do it properly? Because what agents don't really understand is the sharing side. So there's a whole module on how to share, right?
Well, and I'm just thinking as you're talking, you have saved me hundreds of hours in the past 6 weeks because you introduced me to an email managing program.
Yes.
That, and holy darn, I was spending anywhere between a half an hour to an hour dealing with emails,
sorting through,
going through, trying to weed out what was garbage, what was this, what was that. Boom, now this thing just lumps it all. So I go to the real estate stuff first in the morning, and then at my leisure, I go to my personal stuff. And at my leisure, I look in the junk folder.
Right.
But it is so great. Now, looking at my email takes me 20 minutes in the morning, and maybe 10, 15 minutes in the afternoon if I've been out, right? Boom. It's okay, what's important?
Yeah.
So I go to the little thing that tells me what's important, and bang, it's all there. My receipts are all organized now.
Oh my
now
God,
I don't have to search for receipts.
Yes, they're all in one spot. Yep. And I think too, part of that, when we teach people about that, part of it is obviously the time savings, because that's enormous. But I think when people look at their inbox and they've got 60,000, or I've seen people with 200,000 emails in their inbox, how much stress is that?
Yeah, I know.
Right? To keep oh my God, it's probably junk. I'm guessing 75% of it is junk, and we teach people how to get rid of the stuff that's 20 years old and put it out of the inbox. But the stress of seeing not an inbox zero is not possible in my opinion, but maybe an inbox 20, maybe even 100, depending.
Mine's about between 20 and 30 now.
I thought me too.
It was 150 to 200.
Yeah.
Now, some of those are just some of those are when we've sent out those things for clients where it says, okay, we found some properties for you. Well, now I've got that in one folder so I can see. Yes. And if there's a client that's really hot to try, I can go through and go, oh, there they are. Okay. Have you seen this stuff? Are you aware? It's so much easier. I don't have to go through 150, 200 emails to find their name, and everything's just so nicely compartmentalized. It was, and remember you were telling me about where you could put your, you could make yourself notes, notices, every every 3 months I do our GST.
Oh, yeah.
It comes up, okay, you're 2 weeks away from having to get your GST. And I'm like, whoa.
Yes,
Like
yes.
it just has all this little, it has this little thing for reminders, which is absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, I can't tell you how often I use the reminders as well. And that's the kind of stuff we talk about in the program, is that some software I just can't live without, which I know, and that particular one I've used for, oh gosh, probably 8 or 9 years. And same with we talk about password keepers as well as a technical side, but anything that can save an agent time and money in the long run.
Yeah, well, see, that one again saves me so much time, because you just organize for the stuff to go absolutely just get blurped right in, and it's like, oh, I don't have to put in my address, I don't have to put in my phone number. Sure, you need to check it to make sure that. I always just check to make sure everything's correct, because that's who I am. I'm kind of OCD.
Yeah.
But you know what? That is spectacular. But I've been using that for a while now. So, that wasn't a newbie new thing. But,
but it's time consuming a little bit, and not time consuming, but every software we have to look at this. And this is with the CRM as well. Like every software you got to learn, you got to spend the time to learn it, right? Maybe you don't need to use 100% of like I don't use 100% of that platform either. But when we're looking at, and I know you guys with CRMs, you've been very good for many years about actually using a CRM, but every CRM that's out there has features. So let's say you can keep track of a lockbox, or your expenses, or your transactions, or your commissions. Every CRM has the ability to do all these bells and whistles that I think overwhelm people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And what I found is that in my program, let's do 3 things. Right? One is get the contact sync. So if you go in the CRM, you update your CRM contact, it updates everywhere else. And for you, because it's Jeff's that we're talking about, you have the ability to update Jeff's contacts, and it updates everywhere.
It updates everywhere. It updates in mine. It updates in John's. It updates everywhere. And that's the really, like, you know what? That's huge, because then, if Johnny gets a call, he knows who it is. Like, it's like, boom, like, he doesn't have to try and guess which one of, Dad's long-standing clients is calling him. Yes. And, and it's really important, because especially since, at some point when Jeff's like 90, which
when he's retiring.
When he's retiring at 90, it's a fluid thing. Yes. It's very fluid. And also, I think just if you have someone else working in your business as closely as John and Jeff are, it makes the clients feel really important that their number. Like, as Johnny knows their number, and Johnny can say, hey, Joe, it's great to hear from you. Like, can I help you? My dad's in a meeting right now. He usually doesn't call him my dad. He usually goes, of course. Jeff's in a meeting right now. And so he'll go, I'm in a meeting, Jeff's in a meeting, and what can I do to help you? Right. Yeah.
And the notes are there. And if you don't know this, right, if it's all set up properly, and you put, like we would put in the notes, anything, I don't know, gave them this gift or did this, whatever, July 2015, this happened, 2016, this happened, and then you just go look and quickly scan your notes before you pick up the call or when you're going to call them. Mm. Like and people don't know that you're looking at notes. How's your kid? How's your dog? Whatever. The dog's still now. Whatever it might be, right? Because it's in the notes, all talking to everything. So I know I still get excited, and I do it all day long with agents. So
back to the whole CRM thing. Yeah. We had one of the first and foremost CRMs eons ago, and everybody knows which one that is. Everybody in the Lower Mainland had it. Yeah. And it sort of got tired. And when you introduced me to the new one, it was like, whoa, this is like just rocking the whole system. Like, whoa, this one, it had all kinds of new bells and whistles. I don't know if the old one has now progressed past what they were, or whether they're even still alive, because the one that I'm using now is unbelievably like user friendly. Yeah. And if I have a problem, I just phone their 1-800 number. And honestly, I don't think I've sat on the phone for more than 5 minutes. And then you get a live, real voice. Yeah. And it's like, whoa, that's that is just so unbelievable today. Like, usually you get some little thing come up on the side of the screen. Oh, can I help you chat? And I'm like, I don't like, I'm a fairly fast typer, but when I'm under stress like that, I start typing all the wrong words.
I need this to work now. Yeah.
I'm spelling all, wrong. And I'm like, so it's much better for me to actually have a warm voice, because then I can make myself understood better, because I know enough. I know enough sort of IT stuff, or however you want to call it, to be dangerous. Like, I just know enough. I just know enough that they can talk to me, and I'm not completely, got the deer in the headlights look. Yeah. But by the same token, I still need help, because I get to a certain point, and then I'm like, I'm in over my head.
Yeah. Well, and that's with everything. And that's the thing, is when I created this program for agents, when I was researching software and vendors, the first part's integration. Does it integrate properly? Because you guys, whoever's listening to this, the CRM company will say, no, just send us your spreadsheet. We'll import it into their CRM. That is not integration. That does not mean everything will talk to each other, right? Mm-hmm. They want your business. And then the first thing we look at is integration. And then the second thing, I don't care about the cost actually of anything if the support is not phenomenal.
I know.
And anybody that I recommend, and you'll know that too, right? That the support is freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right? It has to be, or there's just no reason to be using something, because when you're stressed out and you need something to work, you want to be able to pick up the phone, email them, do whatever, and get an answer.
Well, as is the platform that you suggest we use. Yeah. I don't know if I can say that word, but anyways, the platform their support is unbelievable, and especially if you have a business account, which I highly recommend for anybody using it. Like, don't try and do this as a personal user. No, because you know what? Yeah, it's a nominal fee.
Yeah.
And honestly, the three of us speak real time all the time. And Jeff updates a file, puts a strata plan onto the whatever you want to call it.
Folder,
it's into the server, and I have it. Like, it's as quick as he pushes the button, it's like there. And so, I'm not going in and having to wait 3 hours for it to show up. It just is there. Like, and so if someone phones me because Jeff's out and John's showing something, they can phone me and say, do you have that? And I'm like, yeah, I do. Bang. Yeah. And it's like that fast. And I can be out and about, and Jeff says, oh, I need those, I need the minutes for December. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I go onto it on my phone, no less. Yeah. And I send it to him, like, cause he's at the building or whatever, and he wants to show it to somebody. And he goes, can you send that to me? Because Jeff is an amazing realtor, just not the way when it comes to IT. Like, I mean, that's, you know what? You can't be good at everything. So that's John's and my sort of forte, right? So I'll send it to him, and bang, it's there. He's getting better. With his iPad, he can do a heck of a lot more.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Once it's set up properly, that now he doesn't actually have to know how to do anything, because the correct rights. Here's the thing that is an issue with sharing strata docs, files, folders, whatever. You have to give the correct rights. But once you've done that at like the top level, now Jeff can go on his iPad and just get the link. And
because we do it all through our little domainy thing, I think it's called, where it's Jeff at jeffdonohoe.com. So jeffdonohoe.com. Anyone with that end bit immediately gets everything that's in this holding
folder. The shared folder that they have.
The shared folder.
Yeah, you guys, if you're with a team, that's the way to set it up. And goodness gracious, never ever, if you're with a team, ever hire like an assistant or have the other person also use their outside email to access your stuff, because they can totally you should control, hear me say this all the time, control your own data. The brokerage shouldn't own your CRM. The brokerage shouldn't own your data, because we don't know what happens ever in the future. If you want to just switch, it's not a big deal to switch.
Right? I know.
Yeah, like it literally is not a big deal to switch. You change your header and footer and your signature, and then you're good to go, right?
Because everything's held under your little blank, your little
Yes,
thing.
your domain, your headquarters. I like to call it the headquarters, but yeah, it's so true. And so I know before we met, now were you keeping in touch with your clients on the previous CRM?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Were you doing drip campaigns and?
Yes.
Okay.
And we used to do little send outs, and most of what we do a lot of send outs of our, like, you know,
you do physical mailers too.
Yeah. Like we used to do physical mailers because a lot of our clients were and still are elderly.
Yeah.
And so we still, you know, do a lot.
And I think if you guys are listening, any agents who are not keeping in touch with their clients, you're missing out on hundreds of thousands of dollars in repeat and referral business. I mean, we know that. And sometimes agents go, oh my goodness. Like if you do the math about listen, most agents don't keep in touch with people. They just keep chasing the new leads, right? But if you actually, and we just actually did this recently, we figured out how much was repeat and referral business, and we were trying to break it down from the different services, like third-party testimonial sites, also mail out. And it's unbelievable how much repeat and referral business happens.
Yeah, Jeff's is about 90. Jeff's is about 91%, and 91% is repeat or referral from past clients or within our people that are within our circle of influence. Yeah. So, you know, meaning friends, family, blah, blah, blah. So
keeping in touch.
So most of ours is just people that they know us somehow.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And that's a lot easier than always chasing new leads and paying for expensive websites and expensive lead gen, when you literally could just be keeping in touch with your past clients who are the source of referrals.
And it's really easy to keep in touch with those people because you enjoy hearing from them. You enjoy finding out what's going on in their life. So it's actually, it's way better. It's way easier to deal with a warm lead than than door knocking or a cold, like, you know.
Yeah.
And you have to explain yourself.
It's true. Yeah. And I think that a lot of times when I talk to people about my program, it's that, oh, you know, it's just that it gets overwhelming. That word CRM is like a 4-letter word. Like they might pay for it for years and they're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know what these buttons are for. And literally, if you just do a few things and it's integrated properly, makes you a whack of money and saves you a whole lot of time, right? I mean, you've been so good.
So here's something that this is a little quick story that John joined our business about 2 years ago, and then Matthew, our oldest son, he's a talent acquisitions guy. So he does HR, he hires for people.
Yeah.
And so Matt was sort of, you know, having a chat over dinner with John, and he goes, hey, he says, hey, Matt, Matt says, hey, John, so like, what do you guys do for your cold calling, blah, blah, blah. And John goes, cold calling. And then Matt goes, you know, when you're trying to solicit business, he goes, Matt, the phone just rings. And you're like, buddy, it doesn't just ring. No, it's we make it happen. Like we actually make it happen through, you know, a CRM or through doing keeping in touch. Like it doesn't just ring. It seems like to him that it just rings, but that's me. That's me, the back office. I make sure all that keeps going. And those two are they're the front man, and they do all the meet and greet. They do all the, you know, open houses. They do the, you know, they go and do all the appointments.
Yes.
Sometimes together, sometimes apart, depending on what and who it is. And, you know, if it's John's client or Jeff's client or whatever, but you know,
you're the
I make sure that everybody knows we're still there.
So part of this is, I'm sure everyone's listening, like, I wish we had a staff, right? But not everyone has the advantage to have somebody do the stuff. But it's very possible for a single agent to also do this once the systems are in place, right?
Oh, for sure. Like without the system, even I couldn't do as good a job, right? Like, I mean, the system actually helps me be right on top of it.
Yeah.
Like it reminds you, oh, you haven't sent something out for a while.
That's right. You haven't contacted this person, you haven't done this, you haven't done that, or that you did do whatever needed to be done with drip campaigns or email blasts. Yeah. So I always love talking to you, and I don't like these to be too long, but whoever has questions, feel free to ask the questions, and I will do it after we're done, and Steph will have access to jump in. Of course, if you do need help, I'll put the link to apply button just to book a complimentary chat. We'll look at, the few things that you might be doing wrong in your business, what your system setup is, and if we can help you, that would be awesome. And if not, we'll point you in the right direction to go. The last thing I like asking is nothing to do with real estate. It is, what is your favorite food?
Ooh, it's got to be Thai food.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, I do. I don't know. I just love Thai food.
Like pad Thai?
Yeah, pad Thai is one of my faves. It's funny because we had a meal service for a while, and Jeff says, wow, they offer a lot of, Oriental food and I'm like, no, it's just me. I like Thai food. So I keep gravitating towards the Thai recipes. And he was howling. He goes, oh, I was wondering. Because, luckily, he's very, very happy to eat anything that's made for him. Like he just, rather than have to cook, he might just say to me, can we save this recipe for a while? If he doesn't like it, I'm like, oh, okay, he didn't like it, right?
Perfect. I love everything. It actually was funny. I did this with someone, and she says, "Oh, do you mean my when you go to jail and your death row food, my death row meal?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. What is your death row meal?"
Okay, I think that would be a Costco hot dog with sauerkraut on it.
No.
Yes.
Well, I hope I never have to give you that. Well, actually,
ask Jeff. Every time we go to Costco, he goes, really? Really? We have to stand in that line again? Really? I'm like, yes.
That's interesting. But you're a cheap date, Stefanie. Totally cheap date. Listen, thank you so much for spending the time here. I, love hanging out with you. I'll see you soon. And thanks to everyone who was listening while we're live. If you have questions, below or above, wherever this video is, please ask questions. Love to help you out. And we'll see you tomorrow, and talk to everyone else later.
Okay.
Okay.
Take care. It was really nice seeing you all. Take care.